What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here of the Bottom Line View, here for a fantasy football 2018 mock draft. I'm going to go into a mock draft, go through my process of the mock draft, explain my strategy in the draft, and basically just go through my thoughts and process of a fantasy football draft. So I'm going to switch the screen to the screen here real quick. You guys can ask me questions in the live chat. That's why I'm live. So if you guys have any fantasy football related questions or NFL questions in general, make sure you hit me up. So right now you should be seeing the live screen. Right away, I have pick number 8. Todd Gurley, Le'Veon Bell have both been picked first and second. So my hope here at pick number 8, it's kind of an awkward pick. Not a lot of people want it, especially in a 12 team. In a 10 team, it's not so bad. But in a 12 team, I'm probably hopeful for one of these running backs in this range here, Saquon, Melvin, Fournette, one of these guys to fall, to my spot, and I'll be happy. I don't typically love to pick a receiver at the end of the first round. Pretty much, unless I'm getting Antonio Brown in the first round, my strategy this year so far has been to pick a running back. Now, maybe if I'm pick number 11 or 12, I'll consider going back-to-back wide receivers because maybe I feel like that's the best value on the board. But other than that, I feel like it's the best decision to go with a running back if you're in the middle of the first round. So Antonio Brown goes 5th as projected. Melvin Gordon goes number 6. Number 7 is up right now. So let's see where he goes. Alvin Kamara. So on the board right now, Saquon, Leonard Fournette, DeAndre Hopkins, Kareem Hunt. I think I got to go with Saquon. He's the highest guy on my board. I think he's the guy out of all these guys to have the most opportunity in the passing game. So I think that's the pick there. So first round at pick 8 overall, I got Saquon Barkley, which is right where I have him ranked. So I feel like that's pretty fair value right there. So at the end of the first round, it's interesting. I almost think I should make a video on it because it's kind of a difficult spot to be if you're in pick number 11, pick number 12 territory. Do you go for a receiver? Do you go for a running back? Do you go back-to-back running back? Do you go back-to-back receiver? What do you do? So I think I should almost make a video on that, but we'll see. Pennsylvania, nice name. Actually went with OBJ. That's kind of funny. So I have the 5th pick in the second round, so that's not all that bad. Let's see where they go here. So Keenan Allen, Devontae Freeman, Rob Gronkowski, and Jerick McKinnon are on the board. It's my pick. Running back, I'm just looking here. So Keenan Allen would be the top receiver on my board. Jerick McKinnon, Christian McCaffrey. I think I'm going to go... This is tough. I have McKinnon and McCaffrey very close. Depending on the day, I'll go with a different guy. But because I have Barkley, who's a rookie, I'm going to go with more of the safer option, which is Christian McCaffrey. I feel like Barkley, he's safe, but he is a rookie, and we've yet to see him play. So I feel like he does have sort of a high ceiling, but an unknown floor. That means I'm probably going to go with a safer pick. McKinnon, not necessarily as safe as McCaffrey, who I feel like was the safest back on the board. I could have went Keenan Allen, and I thought about it, but I pretty much wanted to go running back there because if McCaffrey, McKinnon, Mixon, or if those 3 guys are on the board, I most likely will go with a running back unless it's Michael Thomas or Odell or one of those receivers on the board. Other than that, I think I'm going to go running back most times in the second round. I tend to like to get 3 running backs in the first 4 rounds because I feel like running back drops off quite a bit this year in fantasy. So usually that's where I tend to go in the first 3 rounds. I don't really have a set pick if I want to go wide receiver in round 2 or round 3, or I don't really have a set thing for that, but I just tend to go with where the best value is on the board at one of those positions. And like I said in my quarterback video, I don't usually pick a quarterback until after the 5th or 6th round because I just feel like the quarterback this year There's so many good fantasy quarterbacks. And then even if you get like an Aaron Rodgers, there's not a huge gap compared to some of these other positions of the quarterback and the other positions. I mean, the difference between Le'Veon Bell and the guy that you could pick off the waiver wire is humongous. And the difference between Aaron Rodgers and a guy like Eli Manning is not that big to really warrant a high pick. So if you guys have any questions in the comments, make sure you hit me up on fantasy this year or NFL, anything NFL. All right, so pick 3-8 we're at 3-3 right now. D Brown 937's pick is up. Most likely here, I would probably want to go with a receiver. But if the best value on the board is a running back, I will go with a running back. It just depends how it's going to fall out. Now, right now we have LaShawn McCoy just got picked. What's going on with LaShawn McCoy, man? I still don't know. So Doug Baldwin is sort of injured right now. Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, Larry Fitzgerald, Amari Cooper, Juju. All right. Who's on the board at running back? So I don't mind a Jai there. Who's it? Okay, Kelsey tight end. I'm probably hopeful that Doug Baldwin goes to me here, but I don't think I need to go to him. I might go, I don't love having Cooper as a number one, but I might go with him if he's there. I like Allen Robinson, Josh Gordon. I'm just a little bit with the whole Josh Gordon situation. I'm just not sure I would pick him in the third right now. I would probably wait to the fourth round. So my pick is up. I just want to check the Doug Baldwin thing real quick. Expects to be ready for week 1. I think he's healthy. So unless I'm wrong with that, Doug Baldwin would be the top guy on my board. And I think he's going to have a big year. So I'm going to go Doug Baldwin as my number 1 wide receiver. So I have Saquon, McCaffrey, and Doug Baldwin so far in this draft. And if you guys have never seen a best ball draft, I highly recommend it. It's a very good way to just have fun with fantasy. I mean, it's a great way to mock draft, in my opinion, because you put like usually $1 in the account. You put your $1 into draft. That means everybody's going to stick around to draft because it is at least $1 that you're paying to draft. Where in a mock draft, it's free usually on other sites like ESPN, Yahoo, wherever you may be on. It's usually free. So people just tend to leave after the first like 4 or 5 rounds. They don't really care. They just auto pick. But at least there's a little bit of a prize on the line for a mock draft like on Best Ball, which you basically for Best Ball, you have your whole team the whole year, but you never have to set your lineup. So you can do like 100 of these things for $1 each. And at the end of the year, you can just see how all your teams did if you really want to go that route because you never have to set your lineup. So you don't have to deal with that because they just pick the best players at every position. So it's a great way to mock draft. Plus, there are more picks in the draft. So you can go deeper in your league. So right now, I'm in the middle of the 4th round. I love Jay Ajayi at this pick. So I'm going to go with him every single time. Again, I got my 3 running backs at 4 rounds. That's pretty much how I like to do it. But if there's a great receiver value that I can't pass up, then I'll go with that receiver. It depends. But if Ajayi's on the board, I tend to go in that direction. So I got Ajayi in the 4th round. I'm happy with that. Now in the 5th round, I'm pretty much like locked in on a receiver here, unless there's a really good value for a tight end. But I doubt it. So at wide receiver, I'm probably looking at Allen Robinson if he slides there. Josh Gordon potentially. I don't think Brandon Cooks will be there. Golden Tate would be a decent pick. We'll just see what happens here. Let's see how the board operates. But I have pick number 8 in the 5th round. We're at pick number 9 in the 4th. Chris Hogan is going so early, man. Oh, I love Chris Hogan, but that's just too early. Maybe if Aaron Rodgers drops to the late 5th round, I would consider picking him there. But I don't think that's going to happen. So we'll see what happens here. Yeah. Actually, we're going to start up a fantasy football league, Bottom Line View, this year. We had one last year. Killin' Boy says, "What's up, Mitch?" Rob says, "I'll find me a good free fantasy league this season." Rob, you can join the Bottom Line View Fantasy League for free. We'll probably be doing a video on that, just announcing it pretty soon within the next couple weeks. I've had a couple questions about it, so we'll probably be doing that this year. So some of the diehard Bottom Line viewers that always watch us, for sure will get in if you guys want to join. I'm sure that Rob would be at the top of the list there, so I think Packer, one of our viewers, Packer won it last year. So that was fun. All right. So Aaron Rodgers is still on the board. I don't think I'm going to go there, though. Let's just see. Josh Gordon, Golden Tate, Alshon Jeffrey. Probably going to go with a receiver unless 3 receivers are picked in a row, and then I'll go with Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, a lot of receivers picked lately. Allen Robinson, Brandon Cooks, Marvin Jones, Golden Tate. Dion Lewis just got picked. So basically in the first 5 to 6 rounds, you're just looking at the best value you could potentially get at wide receiver, running back. Maybe if it's the late second round, I'll pick Gronk. So it sort of changes your draft. But that's really the only thing that tends to happen. Maybe you'll pick a Kelsey, and maybe if he slides a little bit, or Ertz, or a tight end, more likely than a quarterback, will throw off the running back, wide receiver kind of thing. So Aaron did go. So that being said, Josh Gordon is just so high on my list. I know he's not in camp right now, but I'm like 99% sure he's going to play. So that being said, I am going to draft him. I've said previously, but this is when I thought that he was going to be around more in training camp, that I would pick him as early as the 3rd round. So getting him in almost the 6th round, I feel is very good value, especially if Josh Gordon plays, he's one of the top 10 receivers in the league. So Doug Baldwin, Josh Gordon, I like at receiver, and they give me some kind of like dynamic where Doug Baldwin's a little bit safer, even though he is injured right now, and Josh Gordon is a little bit more boom or bust. In best ball, if you're playing a best ball league here on draft, maybe the deciding factor for you, if you're going to pick a running back or a receiver, is basically the boom or bust factor of the player. If the player's a little bit more boom per week, then you tend to go with that player because it's best ball, so you don't have to worry about necessarily setting your lineup. So you can just kind of give the edge to the player that's going to maybe have more boom weeks, but also have more bust weeks, with mixing in those consistency players. And that's the way I like to do my normal lineup. Is maybe here I'll pick a solid guy like McCaffrey, but then also a big boom guy like Jay Ajayi. So that's the way I like to go with fantasy, is kind of pick some of the safer guys to match up with some of more of the higher risk guys. So then looking at the roster here, I don't really love any of the running backs. My top guy here would probably be Marlon Mack. Tevin Coleman's okay. Looking at wide receiver, Sammy Watkins, big boom. I don't mind Edelman in this range. Landry, I don't really want to double up. I'm going to go with Watkins. Just let's see. I haven't really picked Watkins a ton this year, and I don't really love Sammy Watkins, but I feel like the Chiefs wide receiver core is going to be pretty good. I think their offense is going to be pretty good. And I like him more over Will Fuller, who's a similar type of player. And I feel like I could, in the 7th round, add a more consistent option like an Edelman or a Crowder or a Garcon, and then kind of pair him up with Watkins. Because if Watkins is really good, then you just stole a great receiver as your 3rd receiver. So I think that's awesome. And at running back, I mean, when you're picking teams normally in your draft, you don't really want to pick more than like 5 running backs, because if you look at running back this year, I mean, we're already getting into the range where they're falling off. That's why I picked 3 so early, because I scrolled down a little bit. I mean, look at like Nick Chubb, for example. Nick Chubb could rather be a boom player, but we don't even know if he's going to really play. Like, we don't know. Giovanni Bernard, is it really worth picking Giovanni Bernard? Like, just for an example, you could just pick him up. Usually it's rather the sleeper running back picks. You'll get an odd one here or there, but more than likely with running backs, it's that you find them on the waiver wire. Those guys, like, if they're not top picks and not studs, you usually find them on the waiver wire. So usually, you rather pick those studs, or you don't want too many running backs. I'd rather just stock up on wide receivers, because it's more likely that, like, for example, it's more likely Calvin Ridley or Anthony Miller become studs than Theo Riddick. You know what I mean? So that's just what I'm throwing out there. Okay, so let's see who else is on the board. Tom Brady in the middle of the 7th is pretty good, actually. If he's there, I might pick him. Tight end Evan Ingram in the middle of the 7th. That's not bad. I don't mind Kyle Rudolph or Trey Burton either. So maybe I'll go with one of those guys, but I would like to I feel like I could go with one of those guys, but we'll just see what happens here. I'm going to keep it on quarterback just to see what happens. The helmet rule is going to be crazy. I know. It's just like, I don't even know how it's going to work out. If it's going to be great for the game in terms of increasing the longevity, or if it's just going to be like, not do anything for the league, and it's just going to set them back, and it's just going to be a bunch of flags on the field for no reason. I don't know, to be honest. Tariq Cohen wouldn't be a bad pick. So receivers, this is tough. I think I got to go, because this is a mock draft where, okay, yeah, let's do it, because I would do this in a real draft. So I'm going to pick Brady. It's the 7th round. I think I have him graded as a 6th round pick. So we're almost in the 8th round. I'd pick Tom Brady if this was a real draft. And it sort of is, I guess. But like, I was going to give you the example of going with more receivers. But let's go with the quarterback just to see how the whole thing falls out. So look, guys, I just got fantasy football quarterback number 3 in the 7th round, because everybody else, like me, most people are waiting on quarterback. So if you see that trend, which I suggest to wait on a quarterback more often than not, if somebody is waiting on a quarterback, and you're like, if 10 of the 12 guys in your league are waiting on a quarterback, obviously pick the quarterback if they're falling on the board. Same for tight end. If they're waiting on tight end, snap one up. If Gronk falls to the 3rd round, pick him. But most likely in your home leagues, like with your buddies and stuff, they'll pick quarterbacks early and stuff. So that's just usually why people on YouTube or NFL.com or ESPN or whatever, they suggest to wait on a quarterback, because a lot of the beginners in fantasy tend to pick quarterbacks very early when they're not very warranted to pick those players. How long has it been since you've talked to Dear Pats Nation? I don't think I've ever talked to him before. I think I followed him on Twitter. But I think that was it. Okay, so let's get off quarterback. Who is there? 8th round. Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp. That's the same. Devontae Parker, Sterling Shepard, Jordy Nelson, Allen Hurns, Kenny Golladay, Calvin Benjamin, Mike Williams. I heard Mike Williams having a good camp. Running back, tight end. I like Trey Burton. I like Isaiah Crowell as a 4th running back. I like CJ Anderson. I think I'm going to go Crowell here. Crowell views himself as a 3-down back. Well, because now McGuire is hurt for like 6 weeks. So Crowell is for sure going to be the number 1 back. Powell is their passing back. But Crowell has had some decent fantasy outputs, and he's on a better team. And he's the only running back there. So, I mean, as a fourth running back, if he ends up giving you like flex value, I feel like that's a pretty good pick. Especially if one of these guys get hurt, like you can always put them in. So I don't mind that. So usually like right now, 4 running backs, I'm pretty much set for a few rounds. Maybe I'll pick one later, but I'm never going to start like one of these other guys over these 4 guys. Okay, so probably next round I want to go receiver, maybe a tight end, and we'll see how it goes. But we're at pick 8.9. I'm at 9.8. So I'm probably looking at a receiver here. I like Sterling Shepard. Jordy Nelson's interesting. Calvin Benjamin's interesting. DJ Moore has looked really good in training camp. I might go DJ Moore, Mike Williams, to be honest. I see Cameron Meredith kind of rising on the board. We'll see. Tight end, not really in love with anybody there, to be honest. Usually I rather pick a tight end really early or I pick them really late. That's just usually how I work because I don't love the tight end position as a whole. These guys are taking forever to pick now. 9.2. Come on, I got a few more picks to go. And still like Drew Brees, Carson Wentz, Andrew Luck are still on the board, man. Look at this. Holy. These guys are taking that to the extreme. If these guys make it to like the 10th round, I might even pick them, even though I have Tom Brady. All right, a couple more picks here. Wide receiver, let's see what we got. Kind of into the Sterling Shepard right now. I feel like Jordy Nelson could have a good season. Yeah, I'm going to go Sterling Shepard here. I feel like he does have somewhat of an upside to be a receiver 3 because he is the number 2 on the Giants. And I like their offense this year. So I'm going to go Sterling Shepard. We'll see. I might go receiver again next round, depending on how it goes. Running backs are getting really weak here. Really weak. How are you guys enjoying the team previews so far on the channel? We've had some great comments and some great love, but then we've also had some pretty harsh comments. So I'd like to hear what you guys have to say about that. Some of you have been consistent watching those too. Oh, quarterback run. See this quarterback run? Luck, Wentz, Cousins. Look at that quarterbacks going now. Jimmy G's on the board, Stafford, Big Ben, Phillip Rivers, that's what you never want to do. If there's like all these quarterbacks in a row, you never want to be the last guy to pick the quarterback. All right, I'm going to go Jordy Nelson. I like Jordy Nelson for some reason. I feel like he's going to get quite a few catches here. And I feel like the Raiders bounce back season here. I picked them to go to the playoffs as the 6th seed at 9-7. And I think a big part of that is going to be Derek Carr. And I think a big part of that might be Jordy Nelson. So why not? Jordy Nelson. All right. Now I have a lot of receivers. I'm just going to pick the best player. So if that's a tight end, if that's a quarterback, if that's a running back, I'm just going to go with the best player. And that's pick 11.8. So we got a bit, but yeah, overall in the late rounds, you usually want to go for like upside guys that you think could rather bounce back and have big years like Jordy Nelson and Sterling Shepard, or like rookies or like players in good situations that have a lot of opportunity. So with receivers, running backs, and tight ends mainly, because quarterbacks, it's sort of a given. I mean, quarterbacks, you usually want to go with the guy that throws the ball a lot, first off, is in a good offense with a good supporting cast, and has a great offensive coordinator. So I think there's a lot of appeal to like a late round Jared Goff pick because he's younger. He has the upside to have a good season. He has a great offensive mind. Marcus Mariota, I think the same thing. I think could be a bounce back candidate. Patrick Mahomes, I'm not so high on this year just because he's a rookie, sort of. Matt Ryan, I don't ever pick because I just know what I'm going to get from him, and he doesn't have a good offensive coordinator. Derek Carr, I actually like. Mitchell Trubisky. So Eli even. I mean, Eli isn't great, but for a fantasy backup, you could do worse. But I mean, like, sometimes I pick a backup, sometimes I don't. I mean, usually I do, but you could always find like some of these guys on the waiver wire, like Dak or Jameis or Case or Blake, even Blake Bortles. He's finished every year. His worst year ever was 13th fantasy quarterback. Blake Bortles, he's terrible in real life, but in fantasy, I mean, he's not bad. So if you need a start every once in a while against a weak team, he can give it to you. So right now, if DJ Moore or Mike Williams are on the board, I'm picking them. If not, I might go tight end. And if Tyler Eifert's there, I'm for sure picking Tyler Eifert. And if I'm picking Tyler Eifert, that probably means I need to pair him with like Charles Clay or Jared Cook, someone like that. Big Ben, too, is going really late. Like, Big Ben would be one of those quarterbacks I'd be keeping my eye on because I think that the Steelers have a great offense. Vincent says, I'm afraid as a diehard Giants fan to pick Barkley if he's on the board. I don't want to jinx it. Well, man, like I said, if you're around past the 8th pick, I would pick him. Like, I was at the 8th pick. Like, if you're around there, I would pick him. But, like, my top 7, I would probably go with Bell, Gurley, David Johnson, Zeke, Brown. Then 6 and 7, probably Gordon and Kamara. And then I would go probably Barkley after that, which is where I ended up, was pick number 8. So receiver, both DJ Moore and Mike Williams are on the board. I think DJ Moore has more appeal to be a number 1 receiver, but Mike Williams is on a better team. So that's a very difficult decision. But at tight end, I don't have one, so I'm going to go Tyler Eifert because he's actually playing right now. So I'm going to go Tyler Eifert. I like my team so far, to be honest. Killin' Boys loves the team previews. Thanks, man. Yeah, today we got Chargers. Chargers came out. And tomorrow we have the first of the NFC South coming out. So probably Atlanta and possibly another one. We'll see. We recorded some today. So we recorded some today and we record some tomorrow. So whatever I get edited, that will be out tomorrow. I usually only like to put a max of 2 out per day. I think that's been going pretty well. Also this year, we got big things for picks this year in terms of weekly picks. We're going to have a what's it called? Not a listener, but a viewer pick 'em sort of thing. So like every week you guys will send in your picks if you want to participate, and we'll keep them down. We'll keep track of them, and we'll have a pick 'em. Okay, so DJ Moore is still on the board. That means I'm going to go DJ Moore. That was easy. All right, so Tom Brady, Saquon, McCaffrey, Ajayi, Crowell, Baldwin, Gordon, Watkins, Shepard, Nelson, DJ Moore, Tyler Eifert. Okay, now I'm looking for I still have 5 picks, I believe. So best ball goes really deep. It goes 18 rounds deep, which a lot of these players won't be picked. So I have 6 receivers. I'm not really looking at that right now. I'm probably going to go with the best player at quarterback, running back, or tight end. So that's where I'm going. And we're getting a receiver run here. Alex Smith is an interesting fantasy guy. I'm ready to watch my Niners take on Dilly's boys tomorrow. Oh, yeah, preseason. Would you guys be interested in like a preseason review every week? Like if I go through and watch the games and do like a review of the preseason week, would you guys be into that? Because I feel like I do it anyways myself. So I would have to do a video, and I'll do it live probably. Pick 13.8. Also, guys, thanks for getting us to 5,000 subs. Forgot to say thanks for that. This guy has a very nice name. Okay, looking at the running back board here. James White, Latavius Murray, Dante Foreman. I would like Foreman if he wasn't hurt. Wilkins, Riddick, Ivory. Like a lot of these guys are handcuffs. And if you don't know what a handcuff is, that's like a player that's a backup, basically. Kalen Balaj. Yeah. James White ain't bad. Tavius Murray could be good if Cook gets hurt again. But I don't want to wish that upon anybody. I really like Anthony Miller. He's rising up here. I like Rashard Matthews, just got picked. Tight end, I like probably out of these guys, I like Clay, Cook, and Jenkins. I think I would go with Clay because he's I know they brought in Corey Coleman, so I guess that's interesting. Maybe Cook then. I like Jenkins too. He's a good player. But in best ball, you usually want to go with like 3 tight ends at least because they're very inconsistent and they're a position that you don't know what's going to happen. Vincent says, Rob, Jimmy G is a stud. Yeah, I have the 49ers going to the playoffs. I hope so. Okay, so receivers, running backs, quarterbacks getting a little weak there. This is tough. Okay, this is a decision where you make. I like more tight ends on the board than I do quarterbacks. So I'm going to go Trubisky and hope for breakout season. So I'm going to go Trubisky. I might even go with a third quarterback if there's somebody warranting a pick. But like, because this is best ball again, you get so many selections. Never pick more than 2 quarterbacks in a real fantasy draft. Don't do it. Just don't. Okay? Don't do it. Pretty much the rest of my picks. I have 4 picks left. I think 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I have 5 picks. Holy moly. So I'll be picking at least 1 running back. Probably 2 tight ends. Maybe another quarterback. And if Eli's there on the board, I'll probably go with him. I did see what Alvin said about the Vikings. I thought that was hilarious. And I think it's true. I think Barkley's going to be a beast, man. I wouldn't be too worried. Okay, I'm going to go Eli here. I wouldn't be too worried. I think he's going to be a beast. How much is he playing, though? I haven't seen any indication on how much he's playing. What I actually want to see is how that offensive line is going to look. Because, I mean, that's a big thing. And is Eli going to play? I don't know. It's the first week. Maybe he'll play a series, I guess. I'm excited for OBJ back, man. I'm a big OBJ fan. I think Jameis will be traded or cut after his suspension this season. I don't think he'll be cut until at least the end of the year. If he is like cut in the middle of the year, I'd be shocked. Unless Fitzpatrick's just lighting the world on fire, then maybe. Which I don't see that happening. Why teams even have backups like Fitzpatrick or is beyond me. Like, why have a backup that you know isn't going to be any good? Like, give someone else a shot. You know? Maybe Fitzpatrick isn't the greatest example of that, but he's not exactly the greatest option you could go with. That's just my opinion. Let's look at other people's teams here. So this is an interesting team. His only quarterback's Derek Carr, which is interesting. I'm not in love with his receivers. So running backs are nice. Howard, Mixon, Gurley. He must have gone with this similar strategy. CJ Heyman has Watson and Prescott. Not a bad combo. Bell, Jones. That's a little risky at running back. I know some people are high on Ronald Jones. Solid receivers, though. Mike Evans, T.Y. Hilton, Allen Robinson. Very, very risky, though. Walker and Doyle, that's a nice combo at tight end. D. Moore, Stafford and Keenum. Elliott, I like Geis more and more as the days pass. Mar Miller is a solid 3. Marlon Mack's a solid 4. I like those running backs. AJ Green, Devin Funchess. Devin Funchess is a sketchy number 2 receiver, to be honest. Nelson Aguilar is a sketchy 3. Not in love with that team. The running backs are good. I like this guy's team. Rivers, Winston, DJ, LaShawn. If LaShawn pans out, this is a good team. If he doesn't, he's kind of stuck and he's waiting for Ingram. So, like, he went with Ingram in hopes that LaShawn's there because this league you need 3 receivers, 3 basically you need rather 4 receivers or 3 receivers because you have 2 running backs, 3 receivers starting, and then you have a flex. So you either have to start 4 receivers or you have to start 3 running backs. That's why I like to go with 3 running backs early on, especially in this. But this year, that's the way I go. So Tyler Eifert. Running backs. Powell. I'm not going with the quarterback here. Don't want to go with that. I'm gonna go with tight end. I'm a fan of ASJ, and Brait's kind of consistent. I'm going to take a gamble. I'm going to go with Austin Severian Jenkins. Why not? Oh, shit. I got auto-picked. Damn it. Me talking too much. I got Deshaun Jackson. That's my bad. Anyways, I don't even mind the Deshaun Jackson pick, so whatever. But I didn't want to go with the receiver. Okay, I guess I'm going with the tight end for sure. Let me star these players just in case I talk too much and then miss my pick. Running back. Late in the drafts, I don't really have any guys that I'm in love with. See, the thing about late running backs is you need to look at preseason. That's why preseason is important to watch in fantasy if you're a fantasy player, is just for those late round guys. Like, who is stepping up? Who's looking really good? At running back, at wide receiver especially. Because quarterbacks usually know, maybe a tight end occasionally, but usually receivers, running backs, those backups, those third strings, those are the guys that pop out. Like last year, Alvin Kamara, Kareem Hunt, these rookies popped out. Dion Lewis a couple years ago was huge for me. Kamara I got last year just because I watched him in the preseason. So those are the type of guys you want. Here, now I kind of screwed myself. I'm going to go rookie Seals Jones. I think maybe. Mike Gesicki is kind of a gamble. Luke Wilson. I'll go Ricky Seals Jones. Okay. So I'm probably going 3 tight ends here because I messed up my other pick. So I'm probably going to go with maybe even Gates. It might be worth it. I mean, if Gates signs, which I think he's going to be their tight end. So, I mean, that might not be a bad pick. Last pick. But I also don't mind Luke Wilson, Mike Gesicki. Not terrible third tight end. Receivers I don't need. Probably running back is going to be my other pick. So Frank Gore, TJ Yeldon, Kenneth Dixon, Kalen Ballage just got picked. James Conner, Jonathan Stewart, Justin Jackson. These guys are all like backups. Boston Scott's interesting for the real life team. I think I'll just go with one of these guys. Sproles ain't bad. He can get you consistent points. Like for an 18th round pick. What's up, John? Eric says sup. What's up, Eric? Yo, Eric, what's your team again, man? You wouldn't go with Kenneth? He got injured last year, but I feel like he's one of the only guys on the board right now that I feel could supplant the starter. Yes, John, I know. You're a Pats fan? I didn't know that, man. Thanks. Now I know why you like my quarterback. Had to take him in the 7th round. Okay. 2 picks left. I'm looking at running back and tight end. Big Ten. Rob's talking about college. Big Ten could be Penn State's. Penn State's talented. I wouldn't bet against that. Wisconsin's always decent. Ohio State's so talented, though. I don't know if it really matters for their coaches. Usually. Quarterback, I'm good. Mike Gesicki just went off the board. Yeah, I think the more and more I'm thinking about it, the more and more I'm going to go with the Antonio Gates last pick thing. Man, these running backs are not good. I do have Barkley, so I mean, I could go Stewart as a handcuff. Okay, my pick. James Conner. Let's go James Conner. Oh, wow. Did I just get auto-picked? I just got Why would you pick another receiver? Damn. I was going to go James Conner, but whatever. Auto-pick myself twice because I'm talking too much. I'm not used to these live mock drafts. And the guy just picked James Conner right after me. Wow. Christian Kirk. Did I get Christian Kirk? I got Christian Kirk, right? Let me refresh this page. No, I don't want notifications. Yeah, I got Christian Kirk. Damn it. All right. Looks like I'm counting on Tyler Eifert to be healthy. I'm going. Should I even go running back? Is he even in point? Jonathan Stewart. Oh, it's my pick. Yeah, I'll go Stewart just as a handcuff. Who cares? All right, so 18 rounds deep. That's a long draft. And that's not as long as your draft's going to be because I got 3 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends, like 1,800 receivers, and a lot of running backs. But generally, as you guys saw in the video, I went with my strategy. So my draft's over. I usually go with 3 running backs in the first 4 rounds because I don't think running back is very strong this year in fantasy. So I went Saquon first round, McCaffrey second round. It was between McCaffrey, McKinnon, there in the second round, and there was also Keenan Allen on the board. I could have went Keenan Allen, but I decided to go with McCaffrey. Then in the third round, I went with my first receiver, which was Doug Baldwin, which is typically when I'll pick that receiver, but it depends. It depends what pick you are too. Third or fourth round, I went Jay Ajayi. Every time in the fourth round, I'll probably go Jay Ajayi because I think that's a great value. I think he should be picked in the late third. Then in the in the fifth, I went with Josh Gordon. Then in the sixth, I went Sammy Watkins. So I got 2 receivers in Watkins and Gordon. If they pan out, they could be studs. If they don't, I mean, I got a million other receivers that I drafted. Sterling Shepard, Jordy Nelson, DJ Moore, Deshaun Jackson, Christian Kirk. I really like the DJ Moore pick where I got him. I got him really late. My receiver core is very strong in my opinion because I have some upside, but I also have some pretty good consistent guys. Crowell I like as a 4th running back, given he's a starter and he can give you flex potential. Tom Brady I got in the 7th round. Mitch Trubisky, high upside quarterback. Eli, same thing. Tight end, Tyler Eifert is healthy right now. When he is healthy, he's a top 10 tight end for sure. And Ricky Seals-Jones, not a bad backup. I could have got, if I don't like part of my roster, it's probably that I auto-picked twice, and that kind of screwed me over. But yeah, I actually like my roster a lot. I'm nitpicking here, but maybe I could get a third. Maybe I could have got a 3rd tight end, and maybe I'm a little bit uncomfortable in the Josh Gordon situation. But then again, you won't be drafting on August 10th, so you'll actually know if Josh Gordon is going to be 100% and he's going to be playing. So yeah, I like my team. I hope you guys do too. And I hope you guys enjoyed this best ball live chat. So I'm just going to back out here of Hangouts. So that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this hangout and fantasy football mock draft on bestballdraft.com. It's my favorite way to mock draft. This is not a sponsored video, by the way. I'm just putting that out there because I really enjoy draft, and it's a great way because you put $1 in, everybody participates because there's a prize on the line, and you go deeper than any other mock draft can, so you get a sense for more of the deep players. But I'll be doing a couple other mock drafts probably on ESPN, Yahoo, and that sort of thing. And also look out for the announcement of the Fantasy Football League on the Bottom Line View. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe for more NFL from the Bottom Line View. It's Mitch. Peace out.